Today's coach tip video is about the Russian kettlebell swing. This is a movement that we use all the time in Persist, and you've done many times yourself, but I wanna cover some key technique points that are gonna make this an even better, safer, and more effective exercise for you. First and foremost, here is what the Russian kettlebell swing looks like. We only swing up to shoulder height. Now, with a Russian kettlebell swing, there are three things that I think about. Number one, the hands are always kept close to the upper portion of your legs. To keep a safe exercise in the Russian kettlebell swing, I always aim to try and touch my wrists to the inner portion of my thighs. You can see with each rep, my wrists are actually touching my upper thigh. This keeps the kettlebell close to your center of gravity, which is going to allow you to move it more safely using the big movers in your hips. The Russian kettlebell swing is an hinging exercise, not a squatting exercise. So the second tip that I want you to think about is pushing your hips backwards and forwards rather than down and up. A correct swing looks like my shoulders staying at about the same level, but my hips moving back and forward, as compared to doing a squatting style swing where my shoulders are going up and down and my knees and hips are bending towards the floor. Use the back and forward technique. Last but not least, this is another thing you can think about to ensure you're approaching this with the correct technique, and that is focusing on where your knee position is. The knees in a good Russian swing always remain directly over the ankles as opposed to coming forward. So as I'm swinging, I'm thinking about keeping my knees back and only slightly bent. And for some of you, this cue of knees back can be the difference in you performing the correct hinge versus a squatting style. And the squatting style should be avoided because it puts your low back a bit more at risk and more vulnerable. When I push my hips back, it loads my glutes and my hamstrings, which is the strongest movers for the Russian style swing. Use those tips today and going forward in your swings to get better training on the muscles that matter and protecting the muscles that you want to keep safe.